All right, you've given us a fascinating stack of sources on Klaus Fuchs. Looks like we're diving deep into the world of Cold War espionage and nuclear physics. It's clear you want to understand more than just the basic facts of Fuchs' case. What made him tick?
Yeah.
How did he manage to stay hidden for so long?
Right.
And what impact did his actions really have?
It's a fascinating question. Hero, villain, or somewhere in between.
Okay, so rewind to 1911, Germany. Fuchs isn't born into some shadowy spy family, is he?
Not quite, but his upbringing is key.
Okay.
His father was a Lutheran theologian and a prominent socialist.
Interesting.
A pacifist who believed in social justice.
Okay.
These weren't just abstract ideas for them,
Right.
they lived them.
Yeah.
Imagine young Klaus in a family
Yeah.
where political debate is dinner table conversation.
I can picture it, except the backdrop is a Germany in turmoil, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
The Weimar Republic was teetering. Extremists on the rise.
Fuchs experienced firsthand the chaos that led to the Nazis' rise.
Wow.
He even got into street fights with Nazi youth groups.
Oh, wow.
Then, in 1926, a tragedy struck.
Oh.
His mother committed suicide.
Oh, no.
It's deeply affected him.
Yeah.
And seems to have strengthened his bond with his father
Uh-huh.
and his commitment to social justice.
Almost like he channeled that grief into a mission,
Yeah,
but according to his very specific worldview.
right.
And by the late 1920s, that worldview meant communism. He joined the German Communist Party, a decision that would ultimately lead him to espionage.
It's 1933, the Nazis seize power, and Fuchs has to flee.
Oh, wow.
He ends up in Britain.
Okay.
Technically an enemy alien,
Right.
but allowed to continue his studies.
Okay.
Gets his PhD in physics, then works with the renowned Max Born at Edinburgh.
Wow.
His focus, theoretical physics, specifically areas that would become all too relevant to nuclear weapons.
So this brilliant mind is developing expertise that'll be crucial to building the most destructive weapon ever conceived.
Right.
And then WWII breaks out.
Uh-huh.
Irony of ironies, he's interned as an enemy alien in 1940.
That's right. The man who'd helped design the atomic bomb,
Wow.
locked up for being German.
Incredible.
Thankfully, influential physicists vouch for him.
Okay.
He's released in 1941
All right.
and joins the British atomic bomb project, codenamed Tube Alloys.
Okay.
But now he's facing a huge dilemma.
Okay.
He's working on a weapon of unimaginable power,
Right.
yet he's also a communist,
Right.
and the Soviets are now allies against Hitler.
Torn between his adopted country and his ideology, what did he do?
He chose to betray Britain.
Oh, wow.
He began passing information to the Soviets in 1941.
Wow.
He believed that helping the Soviets develop their own atomic bomb was the only way to ensure a global balance of power, essentially, making sure no single country could dominate the world through nuclear threat.
Wait, so he thought giving Stalin the bomb would create peace. I need a clearer picture of this balance of power idea because on the surface, it sounds insane.
Imagine it like this.
Okay.
If only one side has a massively powerful weapon,
Right.
they can dictate terms to everyone else.
Yeah.
Fuchs believed a balance of power where both sides had the ability to inflict devastating damage
Yeah.
would actually deter war,
Okay.
like a terrifying stalemate.
Okay, so he's driven by this conviction, however misguided it might seem to us now. But how did he even begin spying?
Yeah.
I mean, passing secrets isn't exactly as easy as leaving a note in a dead drop.
The YouTube video you sent actually sheds some light on his early methods.
Oh, interesting.
He connected with a Soviet agent codenamed Sonia,
Uh-huh.
the girl from Vanbury.
Okay.
Picture this. Clandestine meetings disguised as casual walks in the English countryside.
Wow.
They'd exchange information, hidden in plain sight.
Wow. Talk about Spycraft 101. But wouldn't he be terrified of being caught?
Perhaps, but his belief in the cause seems to have outweighed the risk.
Yeah.
And these initial exchanges were just the beginning of a much larger operation.
Okay.
His espionage would become even more intricate and impactful when he was invited to join the Manhattan Project in 1943.
The Manhattan Project, the U.S.-led race to build the bomb.
Yeah.
They sent him to Los Alamos, the top-secret research facility in New Mexico. Now he's at the very heart of the operation.
and his expertise is crucial.
Okay.
Fuchs specialized in implosion techniques, a key challenge in designing the plutonium bomb.
Okay.
Think of it as a sphere of plutonium compressed inward with incredible force to trigger a nuclear chain reaction.
Wow.
This was the type of bomb ultimately dropped on Nagasaki.
So he's witnessing firsthand the destructive power he's helping to unleash.
Right.
All while knowing he's also giving those secrets away.
Yeah.
The level of compartmentalization is mind-blowing.
Absolutely. He's living a double life, juggling scientific brilliance with morally ambiguous actions. And as the war progressed, the stakes just kept getting higher.
Okay, so Fuchs is playing both sides, helping build the bomb while also ensuring the Soviets get their hands on it.
Right.
But for years, he manages to stay under the radar.
Yeah.
How did he pull that off?
It's a testament to his meticulous planning, compartmentalization,
Right.
and the sheer chaos of wartime.
Yeah,
But his luck wouldn't last forever
Oh, yeah?
as the Cold War dawned.
right.
The US and UK were growing increasingly suspicious of Soviet espionage.
Enter the Venona Project.
Uh-huh.
They were basically reading the Soviets' mail, right?
Essentially.
Yeah.
What did they find?
They were decrypting Soviet communications.
Right.
And started uncovering evidence of a mole within the Manhattan Project.
Okay.
Cryptic messages hinted at the information being passed,
Yeah.
but didn't directly identify Fuchs.
So the hunt was on MI5, the British intelligence agency.
Right.
They must have been kicking themselves for ignoring that Gestapo tip years earlier.
Yeah. But now they had Fuchs in their sights.
Right.
They launched an intense investigation, surveillance, phone taps.
Mm-hmm.
They even bugged his apartment.
They did.
Hold on, you said earlier they uncovered an affair he was having with his boss's wife.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That wasn't exactly espionage, was it?
True.
Yeah.
More a personal scandal than a national security threat.
Right.
But that detail would later become relevant in a rather unexpected way.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
But how did they finally nail him? Was it MI5 surveillance?
It actually came from breakthroughs in the Venona project.
Okay.
And here's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
It wasn't the FBI, as many believe,
Right.
but the British code breakers at GCHQ.
Right.
You know, the same folks who cracked the Enigma code in World War II.
Oh, wow.
Who made the crucial breakthrough.
Wow, GCHQ strikes again.
Indeed.
What did they find?
They deciphered messages that directly implicated Fuchs, mentioning his work on diffusion, his specialty, and his plans to return to Britain after the war.
Right.
They finally had him cornered.
January 1950, MI5 brings Fuchs in for questioning.
Yeah.
The interrogator, Jim Scarden,
Right.
uses a mix of psychological pressure and carefully revealed details from the Venona decryptions.
Right.
Game over for Fuchs.
You mentioned earlier Fuchs had an affair with his boss's wife.
Yeah.
Well, during the interrogation, Scarden used this detail masterfully.
Oh, wow.
He suggested Fuchs's lover might be implicated as a co-conspirator, putting additional pressure on him.
That's a brilliant tactic, playing on Fuchs's emotions and sense of responsibility.
It was.
So how did he react? Did he crack under pressure?
He confessed, but it wasn't a simple breakdown.
Right.
He seemed to come to the decision that he had a moral obligation to confess.
It's like he was trying to regain control, even in defeat.
Exactly.
He gave a detailed confession, outlining his activities,
He did.
but he also insisted he was acting to promote peace through a balance of power. What a complex character.
Yeah.
He's condemned as a traitor, but still clings to the belief he was saving the world.
His confessions sent shockwaves through the intelligence community.
Wow.
It triggered a chain reaction,
Right.
leading to the arrest of Harry Gold, his courier in the U.S.
Okay.
And then there's the case of Julius and Ethel Rosenberg,
Right.
accused of passing atomic secrets to the Soviets.
Right.
Their trial and execution in 1953 became a symbol of Cold War anxieties and paranoia.
So Fuchs's confession not only exposed him, but also played a role in the tragic fate of the Rosenbergs.
It did.
What a heavy burden to carry.
Indeed.
His actions had far-reaching consequences,
Yeah.
fueling the Red Scare and deepening the mistrust between East and West.
Absolutely.
In March 1950, Fuchs is sentenced to 14 years in prison for spying for the Soviet Union.
Right.
He's stripped of his British citizenship, branded a traitor.
Uh-huh.
It's a dramatic fall from grace.
Yeah.
What was his life like behind bars?
Despite his circumstances,
Yeah.
he seemed determined to continue his intellectual pursuits.
Okay.
He read extensively, wrote scientific papers.
He was still a scientist at heart, even in prison.
It's a testament to his resilience.
Yeah.
And perhaps a way to cope with the weight of his actions.
Right.
After 9 years, he was released in 1959 for good behavior
Okay.
and immediately went to East Germany, then a communist state.
A new life for a convicted spy
It was
would have awaited him there.
He was welcomed by the East German government
Okay.
and quickly rose to prominence at the Central Institute for Nuclear Research in Rosendorf,
Oh.
focusing on peaceful applications of nuclear energy.
Nice.
He never worked on weapons research again.
So from helping design the atomic bomb to working on nuclear power for a communist regime.
Right.
Quite a turnaround.
He had come full circle, in a sense.
Right.
He framed his espionage as a moral imperative,
Oh.
arguing that by helping the Soviets acquire the bomb,
Right.
he had prevented a dangerous imbalance of power
Yeah.
and saved the world from war.
But did he? Did his actions contribute to stability?
Hmm.
Or did they simply escalate the arms race?
It's a complex question with no easy answers.
Right.
There's no denying that his information significantly accelerated the Soviet atomic bomb program,
Yeah.
enabling them to test their first weapon in 1949,
Wow.
far earlier than Western intelligence had anticipated. That, in turn, fueled the arms race, leading to a world filled with nuclear weapons and the constant threat of annihilation.
It did.
Did Fuchs ever acknowledge the role he played in creating that terrifying reality?
Publicly, he remained committed to the idea that his actions had ultimately promoted peace.
Okay.
He received awards from the East German government
Wow.
and was even given a state funeral in East Berlin in 1988,
Wow.
with Vladimir Putin, then a KGB agent, among the attendees.
So even in death, he remained a symbol of Cold War divisions, a hero to some, a traitor to others.
His story forces us to confront the complexities of individual choices,
Yeah.
the power of ideology, and the ethical dilemmas of scientific knowledge in a world capable of unimaginable destruction. So Fuchs ends his days in East Germany, lauded as a hero for betraying the West. But how did the world at large grapple with his legacy? Was he universally condemned as a traitor?
It's interesting you say world at large, because his reception was very much split down the middle of the Iron Curtain, to be precise.
yeah.
In the Soviet bloc, he was a champion, a scientist who dared to challenge Western dominance.
The narrative flips completely depending on which side of the Cold War you were on. But in the West, he remained a symbol of betrayal, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
His name became synonymous with espionage, a cautionary tale about communist infiltration, and the dangers of misplaced trust.
Right.
This contrast highlights how Cold War ideology shaped and continues to shape our understanding of history.
It's like there are two different Klaus Fuchs.
Yeah.
The hero of the East, the villain of the West.
Yeah.
But decades after the Cold War, is he still relevant? What can we learn from his story today?
His story raises timeless questions about the role of scientists in society, especially in a world where scientific advancements can have such profound consequences.
Right.
Do scientists have a responsibility that goes beyond simply pursuing knowledge?
Yeah.
Where do loyalty and ethics come into play when national security and global stability are at stake?
It's like he forces us to look in the mirror and ask ourselves, what would we do if faced with such a dilemma?
Precisely. And Fuchs's case also highlights the complexities of ideology.
Right.
He was driven by a belief in communism, a system that promised equality and justice but often delivered oppression and tyranny.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that even the most well-intentioned ideologies can be twisted and manipulated to serve dangerous ends.
In a way, his story is a cautionary tale about the dangers of blind faith in any cause, no matter how noble it may seem.
And in our current world, with the rapid development of technologies like artificial intelligence and bioengineering,
Right.
Fuchs's story is even more relevant.
Yeah.
We need to think critically about the potential consequences of these advancements
Right.
and ensure that ethical considerations are at the forefront of scientific progress.
It's about making sure knowledge is used for the betterment of humanity, not its destruction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fuchs's story is a stark reminder that knowledge is power,
Right.
and power can be used for good or evil.
Yeah.
It's up to us as individuals and as a society to choose wisely.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into the life of Klaus Fuchs.
We have.
From his youth in a turbulent Germany to his role in the Manhattan Project, his fall from grace, and his later years in East Germany.
Right.
His is a life that defies easy categorization.
He was a brilliant scientist, a committed communist,
Right.
a betrayer of trust, and
Yeah.
in his own mind, a champion of peace.
Yeah.
His story is a testament to the complexities of human nature
Right.
and the enduring impact of individual choices on the world stage.
As we reflect on his legacy, we're left with a profound sense of the weight of history and the enduring challenges of navigating a world shaped by both scientific progress and the potential for its misuse.
And as you continue to explore and reflect on Fuchs's life, I encourage you to consider these questions. Could his actions be seen as a form of civil disobedience, a desperate attempt to prevent what he saw as a dangerous nuclear monopoly? Or was he simply a traitor, blinded by ideology, and willing to betray his adopted country?
And perhaps most importantly, what lessons can we learn from his story to ensure that scientific knowledge is used for good, not for ill? These are questions with no easy answers, but they're questions worth asking as we grapple with the challenges of our own time.
This deep dive into the life of Klaus Fuchs has been a journey into the heart of one of the most consequential periods in human history.
Right.
It's a story that will stay with you, prompting reflection, debate, and a renewed appreciation for the power of ideas and the impact of individual choices on the world stage.